Hello everyone, welcome to another math class. Today we'll be looking at common multiples of numbers up to 9. Common multiples of numbers up to 9. When we say multiples of numbers, what do we mean? Multiples are those numbers we get when we multiply a particular number by other whole numbers. Multiples are the numbers we get when we multiply a given number by other whole numbers. Note, whole numbers, not fractions. Okay? So when we talk of multiples this way, we're talking of whole numbers. Now, an example is this. If you do 2 times 3, 2 times 3 is 6, right? So that means that 6 is a multiple of 2 and 3. 6 is a multiple of 2 and 6 is a multiple of 3. So we're going to take a look at some examples so that we gain deeper understanding. Now let's consider the topic again of what we're doing. We're looking at common multiples. Okay, we just mentioned what a multiple is and we gave an example by multiplying 2 and 3, which gave us 6, and we said that 6 is a multiple of 2 and 3. Now when we talk of common multiples of numbers, what that means is a particular number that will be got when certain numbers are multiplied by other whole numbers. I'll take that again. Common multiples are the numbers you will get when certain other numbers are multiplied by other whole numbers. For example, looking at 2 and 3, okay? If we multiply 2 by 3, it will give us 6. And if we multiply 3 by 2, it will give us 6. That means that 6 is a common multiple of the numbers 2 and 3. Let's take another example. For instance, 4 times 5, it gives us 20. And then 5 times 4 gives us 20. That means that 20 is a multiple of the numbers 4 and 5. Because if you multiply 4 by a certain whole number, you get 20. And if you multiply 5 by a certain whole number, you get 20 as well. So those common multiples, if I will use another language, for instance, it will say that the common multiples of these numbers here that I've written out, for instance, will be the numbers that all these numbers can divide through without a remainder. The common multiples to 2 and 3 will be the number, let's take one for instance, the number that 2 and 3 can divide without a remainder. A common multiple of 4 and 5 would be that number that 4 and 5 can divide without a remainder. Now here is what I have come up with here. It will help us to get the multiples of a particular number. All you just need to do is skip count. Okay, skip count in that number. So all the answers you're coming up with, they are multiples of that number. Okay, like 2. When you skip counting, so you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So all those numbers you are seeing here under 2, they are all multiples of 2. And then coming to 3, also skip count in 3. So you skip count in 3s, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 8, 15, 18, and just like that. So you come to 4, you skip count, come to 5. By skip counting, you are getting the multiples of the number you are starting with. Okay, so these are all multiples of 2, multiples of 3, multiples of 4, and multiples of 5. So what are we supposed to do here? Remember, we're looking for the common multiples of numbers up to 9. So if we want to consider these four numbers together, we will have to look for that one number that we can find here, find in 3, find in 4, find in 5. So any number we see across these 4 columns is a common multiple of these 4 numbers. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so but what we are going to do, we'll just take note. Let's take them maybe 2 in 2s. To make it easier first. So let's start with 2 and 3. So let's start with 2 and 3. Here we have 2 and 3, nothing common. Here we have 4, here we have 6, nothing common yet. Here we have 6, here we have 9. Wow, so we've seen 6. Let's just circle it. So we've seen 6 here. So that means 6 is common to 2 and 3. It's a common multiple. So here we have 8, here we have 12. We have 10 here, we have 15 here. We have 12 here, we have 8. Wait, see that? So we have 12. So that means 12 is also a common multiple of 2 and 3. So let's continue. Maybe we find something again. So we have 14, we have 15, we have 16, we have no 16, we have 18. Wow, we have 18 here. So again, 18 is another common multiple of 2 and 3. So if we're going to conclude on this, I just made us to stop at 10 numbers away, okay? So that we won't be dealing with numbers that are too many. So if we look at this stuff here, we find out that 6, 12, and 18 are common multiples of 2 and 3. We're going to write out, okay? But for now, let's just stick with this. Now let's go to 4 and 5. Let's see what we get. Okay, when we are done, okay, let's do 3 and 4, then we can go to 4 and 5. Let's just keep comparing like that. So for 3 and 4, we have 3, we have 4, nothing. We have 6, 8, 9, 12, 12, 16. Wow, here we find 12 again. So 12 is a common multiple of 3 and 4. All right, so let's continue. We have 15, 16, 18, 20, 21, 24, 24. Wow, we have 24 again. So this 24 is another common multiple of 3 and 4. Now, mind you, these are not the only common multiples of these two numbers or even these other two numbers. It's just that we decided to stop here. If we extend our numbers, if we come up with more numbers, we're definitely going to get more common multiples, but we're just going to stop here. Okay, so now let's look at 4 and 5. So we have 4, we have 5, nothing. 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, 20, 20, 25. We have 20. So that means I'll draw a square. Let's not. 20 and 20 is a common multiple of 4 and 5. So let's continue. We have 24, we have 25, we have 38, we have 30, we have 32, we have 35, we have 36, 40, we have 40. Wow, we have 40. So good. That means 20 and 40 are common multiples. Sorry, that means 20 and 40 are common multiples of 4 and 5. Now let's come to 2 and check 2 and 4. Remember we started with 2 and 3. Now let's do 2 and 4, then we do 2 and 5. Let's see what we got. So 2, 4. Yeah, we have 4. Let's use triangle. Okay, 2 and 4. We have 6, we have 8, we have 8. Wow, we have 8. I hope we won't get confused because of the shapes we are using to mark them. Just trying to tell you the numbers that are common to the 2. So 2 can divide 4, 4 can divide 4. 2 can divide 8, 4 can divide 8. And then if we go down, we find 16 here. We also find 16 here. So that means 16 is also a common multiple of 2 and 4. And then we have 20 again. So which means 20 is another common multiple of 2 and 4. I can draw my triangle inside, right? So that's 2 and 4. Then if we check 2 and 5, we will have 10. Okay, we will have 20. And yeah, 10 and 20. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if we continue, we will find other numbers. But for the sake of convenience, we are just stopping at the 10th number. Okay, so starting with 2, these are all multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. They are all multiples of 2. Now 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. These are all multiples of 3. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. These are all multiples of 4. And 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 are all multiples of 5. Now, what we consider here is the fact that any number you see among all these numbers in this column, whatever number is in a particular under a particular number and is also elsewhere, that means that number is a common multiple of the two numbers up. For example, we have 4 here under the column of 2 and we have 4 under 4. That means 4 is a common multiple of 2 and 4. Again, we have 8 in the column of 2 and we have 8 in the column of 4. That means that 8 is a common multiple of 2 and 4. Again, we have 20. We have the 20 is even far. We have 16 in the column of 2 and we have 16 in the column of 4. So that means 16 is a common multiple of these two numbers, 2 and 4. It goes on like that. So if you also come to 3, there are numbers that are in the column of 3 and also in the column of 2. So any number that you see in different columns, it means that that particular number is a common multiple of the numbers that we outlined up there. Okay, so for instance, we have here we have 12 in the column of 3 and we also have 12 in the column of 4. That means 12 is a common multiple of 3 and 4. Now let's come to 4 and 5. Here we have 20 in the column of 4, we have 20 in the column of 5. That means that 20 is a common multiple of 4 and 5. Okay, so I hope it's getting clearer. So let's quickly check the other remaining numbers. So we consider the last set of numbers. Remember we said from numbers up to 9. So we have 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now again, we do skip counting for each of the numbers to get their multiples. So for the multiples of 6, you do 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6, 18. 18 plus 6, 24. 24 plus 6, 30. 30 plus 6, 36. And then 42. Just keep count. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. 7, you do the same thing. You skip count. 8, you skip count. 9, you skip count. Or you do multiplication table. Is the same thing. Now listen, the thing is, by the time you do all of this, you have gotten the multiples of each of these numbers. But then when you now talk of common multiples, you are looking across these columns to see what number is in a particular column and also in another place. So any number you see that is in more than one column is a common multiple of the numbers that it features under. So for instance, if I find maybe 24 under the column of 6 and I find 24 under the column of 8, that means 24 is a common multiple of 8 and 6. So that's how it goes. So let's check. So here we have 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, 12, 14, 16, 18, nothing. Here we find 18 and then we say 18 under 9. That means 18 is a common multiple of 6 and 9. That's great, interesting. Then next we have 24 under 6 and we have 24 under 8. So we use triangle this time around. So that means, or let's use square. So that means that 24 is a common multiple of 6 and 8. Right? Now we continue. We have 30 here. No 30 anywhere else. We have 36 here under 6. And then we have 36 in 9. So that means that 36 is a common multiple of 6 and 9. Okay. So then we have 6 has 42 and then 7 has 42. So for this, we're going to use a triangle. Okay. To represent let's get this okay, so we have 42 here under the column of 6. We have 42 under 7. That means 42 and 7, they are So that means that 42 is a common multiple of 6 and 7. So you see the one in circle, 18, is a common multiple of 6 and 9. The one in rectangle is a common multiple of 6 and 8. The one in circle is 6 and 9, like we saw here. That's 36. And also the triangle is a common multiple of 6 and 7. So 42 and 42. Now, just to show us how we look out for common multiples, whatever number it is that can be divided by certain numbers without a remainder, or the number we get when we multiply a whole number with other whole numbers. I hope we have learned something in this lesson. Hope to see you again next week. Until then, stay blessed and stay safe.